Have you ever felt unloved by your parents, even though your relatives swore up and down your parents love you, but yet they kept hurting you? And now you're confused with what love looks like because now that you're older, hurting the people you love comes easy to you, and letting them hurt you back by thinking it's love comes even easier. Why is that? They say hurt people, and my dad hurt me a lot. In hope that I wouldn't be hurt anymore, I went back to Vietnam to be around my less crazy family, who I believe would soothe that part of me. But I realized they were also incapable of loving me in a way that felt good, let alone fix me. Coming back as an adult and finally understanding stories of my parents' past and relationships, I finally understood why I felt unwanted by my parents. Having learned that I was birthed out of obligation and not love, it made sense why I was often treated as an adult and not a child, almost as if I was born to be sent to America to be successful and send money back, not born to be loved like a normal child. As if I hadn't already felt unwanted in Vietnam, it got even worse when I came to California to live with my dad. There were times when he would take his anger out on me because he remarried, regretted it, and realized he's still in love with my mom, but she also remarried and it was too late for him. And instead of taking his anger out to anyone else but his 12-year-old daughter, he took it out on his 12-year-old daughter, which was me, by the way. Apparently, my mom blocked all his calls, so the next best person to unleash all that anger out was me. He knew my mom would only talk to me, so there I was playing the middleman at 12 years old, passing cuss words back and forth just like that. And even though my dad was in the wrong, I couldn't question the abuse or the mistreatment because I was told I was lucky enough to be in America instead of Vietnam, so I should just suck it up. Living with my dad really opened my eyes about how I've been treating myself like letting others treat me like and treating others like thinking it's love, or thinking the mistreatments would somehow be negated in the name of love. And even though my mom took no part in the verbal abuse my dad orchestrated, I felt abandoned as soon as she remarried and let me wander to America all by myself. Her decision was neither a good or a bad one. I know she wanted me to have a better future in America, but regardless, I was in pain and was really desperate for love, so my mind did the one thing to keep myself going. It turned my parents' abuse and neglectment into a form of love. And so growing up, I basically tricked myself into thinking, they did what they had to do because they love me. And then I started mirroring their ways because it's all I ever known. It's no wonder I was afraid of loving myself or didn't even know what the hell it was. For years, I've been wishing for a time machine. If I could briefly go back, I wouldn't even meddle with the grown-ups mess, but I would use what I know now to tell my 12-year-old self that it wasn't her fault her parents didn't love her enough. But maybe humans aren't allowed a time machine for a reason. Perhaps it's the universe's way of telling us that life is meant to suck at some point and we just gotta live with it. It might have been my parents' fault I was miserable, but it's now my responsibility to learn from it and heal. It's only now with a clear head I'm able to process those terrible things as not so terrible in the long run. It is because I suffered I'm stronger today. And maybe I was meant to leave Vietnam so I can be free from my family's suffocating grasp, free to unlearn their toxic ways, to meet the people I hold dear today, and redefine what love and acceptance really meant to just me alone. My life so far has made me realize that the disappointments life brings would always bring us pain, but I think it's the pain that forces us to grow, and I think that's a good thing. This is tofu pudding with ginger syrup, a childhood dessert I used to hate, but now I really like. Don't you like it when your taste bud matures? Anyways, it reminds me of my childhood and the cooking I took for granted from my family. I'm grateful to be away from them, but I terribly miss their food. They might have sucked in the healthy living department, but they've always been good cooks. But it is what it is, You win some, you lose some. It's not terribly hard to cook either. It's just hard finding time to. But I'm gonna get better. Here's to hoping we all get better at filling our parents' void, whether it be at living, loving, or at cooking. This is Trinity's Cooking Diary. Thank you for watching.